Ooga fucking ooga cunts, and welcome back to another episode of the Cunt News Network, CNN, bringing you really cringy news every Sunday night because, well, we have nothing better to do. That's usually our forte anyways. Tonight, of course, I am joined with Ren from Renelation/Shitlords Anonymous.
Hey, guys!
Yes, and normally I would also have Rob and Ishtar with us, but Rob is currently unavailable. We don't know why, that little shit. And Ishtar is having family visits. So, obviously, it's just going to be me and Ren until, of course, Rob eventually shows up. That little motherfucker. It's going to be late as shit! Okay, so, looking on, of course, the channel itself, or at least the description, we have Cunt News Network number 19, Sonic Attacks. I'm curious as to who the fuck put on a Sonic costume and started attacking people. Germaine Greer versus Beyonce. I don't see that going well for anyone. And Florida skips background check. God damn it, Rob! I'm assuming that's one of Rob's stories.
It is something.
God fucking. Has Florida learned nothing?
It's Florida.
True.
What do you expect?
True.
It is the capital of drunk girls who make poor decisions, old people waiting to die, and people who go missing.
I would have probably died of an STD years ago if I had actually lived in Florida, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very good chance. Either that or I would have died from a stabbing because I fucked the wrong guy's girl. Something along those lines. Something.
Florida is just one giant bad news headline generator.
Yeah. I swear, it's like everything historically bad in America. At some point, Florida peeks its head around the corner and says, y'all causing trouble? It's so fucked up. Well, anyways, since Rob is currently not available with us and Ishtar is not here either, of course, how about we just jump into one of your stories and find out where this rabbit hole goes? I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like it.
Ah, you never like it. That's why I picked the articles we do.
Well,
You want to start with the Zoe Quinn comic article first?
Sure. Let's go with that.
I thought you would love to see this one. Zoe Quinn's first comic leads DC Comics' relaunch of Vertigo.
Continue.
Oh, I'm just going to jump down to, these are the comics they have chosen to relaunch the brand. Starting with Border Town.
The title alone already gives you an idea as to what it's going to be, but go ahead and read that description.
It's written by Eric M. Whatever. The guy who wrote the Adventure Time comic and Starburns Presents. And it will be, here's the synopsis. When a crack in the border between the worlds releases an army of monsters from Mexican folklore into a small town in Devil's Fork, Arizona, the residents blame the ensuing weirdness, the shared nightmares, and the otherworldly radio transmissions, the mysterious goat mutilations on god-dang illegals. With racial tensions supernaturally charged, it's up to the new kid in town, Frank Dominguez, and a motley crew of high school misfits to discover what's really going on. And look how inclusive that team is. Yep.
So I guess we should start applying the whole concept of what I'm about to say, not just to science, but also to comic books, art, entertainment, and stuff like that. Just because you can, it doesn't mean you should.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. Just because you can create a cringy, badly written, poorly drawn comic book series, thinking that for some reason people are going to hate read the first 7 issues, which is usually what happens. People will hold out after issue 3 and they'll try to make it all the way to issue 7, and then eventually they'll quit. That's typically on average from what I've experienced. People will eventually quit around issue number 7 because if you can't make the first 7 issues of a book remotely interesting, it's done. It's fucking done. You've basically wasted my time. I've spent way too much money on this. You can fuck off forever. And the Borders thing, that's fucking hell. You can just tell it's going to be filled with some goofy, funny humor stuff that people are going to enjoy and try to say like, this is the best part of the book. This is going to be the most amazing aspect. And you're just going to be fucking pissed because you have to explain to them 2 panels of comedy does not make a good book. You fucking idiot.
Well, keep going. There's also Hex Wives. This synopsis is, the women are too powerful. They must be tamed. A malevolent conspiracy of men brainwashes a coven of witches to be subservient suburban housewives. But it's only a matter of time before the women remember their power.
I swear to fucking God. I swear to God. This is the most feminist propaganda pushed comic book I think I have seen in a long time. Holy shit with the fucking Hex Wife. Okay, let me explain. I shit you not, I actually did have an idea for something like that not too long ago. For those of you who don't actually know much about me, IRL, I love to draw and I love to create comic books and manga and stuff like that. And there was a story idea concept I had one time where I was actually going to do this thing where it was an entire, I would say, neighborhood of magic users secretly living amongst, you know, non-magic users and stuff, like basically wizards and witches just pretty much living in secrecy and stuff like that. So much secrecy that their spouses didn't even realize that they were magic users. And eventually it would come out because one of the wives accidentally used magic a little too much in front of her husband, and her husband finds out, and then slowly but surely the entire neighborhood starts to learn about these magical powers. But because they kept using magical powers, unfortunately, it drew the attention of some powerful warlock in some different dimension kind of shit. And then eventually these badass battles and stuff like that. And I was like, that sounds like a really good idea. I eventually scrapped it because the more I thought about it, the more I was just like, no, let's not do this. Now I'm looking at Hex Wives and I'm like, you cunts read my mind and you fucking twisted and bastardized my idea, you pieces of shit. And now we have this thing, American Carnage. Oh, let's guess. What's this about? Go ahead and read that one too, Ren.
In this thrilling crime saga, disgraced FBI agent Richard Wright, who is biracial but can pass for white, goes undercover in a white supremacist group believed to be responsible for the death of a fellow agent.
Yeah. Because that's what we also need in our fucking comic books. Race relations. Race propaganda. Continue the divide, everyone. Let's just keep pushing the fucking divide.
Then there's Goddess Mode.
Fuck you, Zoe.
In a near future where all humanity's needs are administered by a godlike AI, it's one young woman's horrible job to do tech support on it. But when Cassandra finds herself violently drawn into a hidden and deadly digital world beneath our own, she discovers a group of superpowered women and horrific monsters locked in a secret war for the cheat codes to reality.
Are you kidding me? She took the C/D list fucking comic book concept of the 80s and decided to actually push it forward and say, here, Vertigo, this is going to be your fucking #1 seller. Let's go ahead and push this forward because, I don't have a goddamn agenda to push, nor do I have
Did you see the god-awful art style?
Oh, no, yeah, me, Samaj, and I can't remember who else. I want to say Schmeckel. But the other day, we were kind of tearing this apart because, like, we appreciate the wink and the homage back to that classic 80s, like, highlighter fucking everything neon look, but at the same time the art we didn't enjoy it. I don't enjoy this art. It's not for me. If you want to take it to an indie comic company and everything like that and push this and it actually sells well, good for you, congratulations. You actually found a demographic that really enjoys that artwork, really enjoys that writing, and that's fine. But this is Vertigo. This is for the same company that gave us Hellblazer, the same company that gave us Swamp Thing, the same company that eventually gave us Lobo and so many other fucking comic book characters. Sandman. There's a lot of different characters that have made their way from Vertigo into DC, or even just, I don't know, went their own independent way or just disappeared entirely. It was so fucking good. There's a lot of people out there that love the Vertigo comic books, especially the Lucifer stuff. And Vertigo actually was really great because it was basically the more mature version of DC Comics comic books. And here's Zoe Quinn basically just saying, I know the soul and essence of Vertigo. Now let's feminist it the fuck up.
Yeah. Now this is the High Level is kind of the meh one because it basically has a plot that sounds like it comes out of an anime. Yeah. Deliver child messiah to High Level. Yada 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 anime. This is the one that was yeah.
Safe sex.
A dystopian sci-fi thriller about a ragtag team of sex workers fighting for the freedom to love in a world where sexual pleasure is monitored, regulated, and policed by the government.
So, real quick, I didn't say anything or critique. What was it? High Level?
High Level, which is this one. It looks like...
yeah, it looks like a generic isekai fucking manga. So, I mean...
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a bit of like any... enter the video game type manga for the style. It was kind of like, eh.
Yeah. It's unimpressive. It's not one of those things where you can really like shit on it or anything like that. It's probably going to have mediocre writing and mediocre art. It's going to be the one book out of all of these that's just, it flies by everyone because it's unimpressive, but it's also not complete shit.
It won't be complete shit. I don't think it'll be complete shit. I think it will find its audience with the people who like that style of anime.
True.
We're in the video game style of anime and we have to complete this quest. It's gonna have its niche audience. It's gonna get readers. It's just gonna be like meh.
That's what Goddess Mode is supposed to be, except it's technically a reverse isekai, where an isekai is you go to a different world other than your own and everything like that. Typically, it's a video game. In Goddess Mode, the premise is the video games are real for some fucking awful reason. But no, go back up to the other one. No, go back up to that other one. That's safe sex. I gotta fucking... I'm gonna... What's happening in this? What is going on with this cover? Okay, safe sex. Female icon, male icon. Looks like two fucking women making out, right?
But that's the idea. It's a world where the government regulates it. Therefore, people must be straight in order for the government to be okay with it.
Oh, no, that's the other part about it is because it's the safe sex, the male and the female symbol in here. That means we can speculate and possibly guess that one of these is supposed to be trans.
I would not be shocked.
I wouldn't even be shocked either because they basically decided to take the whole, gay people are oppressed in America. Not really. Not like they used to be.
And it's being written by someone who produces a podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's fucking really great. I swear sometimes these ideas that these people fucking come up with and they try to push it into the mainstream so fucking badly. When I mean the mainstream, I mean the mainstream comic book industry. Mm-hmm. Granted, I have my own issues with the mainstream comic book industry, specifically right now with Marvel, but right now DC is also pissing me the hell off. And it's causing me to basically say, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to go the independent route and I'm just going to actually follow the talent. I'm going to follow Brett Smith and John Malin.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people are going. Now, this last one has hope.
This one looks like a joke comic book because it's making fun of Superman, who's the Jesus-like character in fucking DC, and then he's fighting alongside Jesus, who's apparently shoving a baguette into a dude's mouth.
Now, here's the plot. God sends Jesus to Earth and hopes that he will learn the family trade from Sunman, an all-powerful superhero who is like the varsity quarterback son God never had. But upon his return to Earth, Christ is appalled to discover what has become of his gospel and vows to set the record straight.
So basically,
God has a favorite son, and it ain't Jesus.
God prefers the superhero Sunman and sent his only son down to Earth yet again, who basically is disgusted at what Christianity has become and is just like, well, now I have to correct this. And there's Sunman basically being goofy superhero jock boy that God loves more than his own son. Yes. Okay, I like to mock religion, but that's going too far in my opinion.
I don't think it necessarily is going too far, because if you think about it, it's just having fun with it. And out of all those comics, which one would you pick up?
None of them.
If you had to.
I'd set the rack on fire.
Okay, that's a valid point.
Yeah.
But at least out of all of them, it sounds like it doesn't have a hint of feminism in it. It's mocking religion, but it's not feminist.
Yeah, that's the only one that I kind of look at and go, you might have something. However, it's just, if you're going to mock religion, it's better to mock just religion. To mock religion and comic book superheroes at the same time is sort of cliche and redundant, because in a lot of ways, there are comic book characters out there that mock religion in and of itself. Wonder Woman, for example. Thor, for another example. These are characters who exist in their worlds, who are based on the Greek and Norse mythologies. Well, Wonder Woman's kind of like a created character, but loosely based off of Greek mythology, whereas Thor is from Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Anyways, these characters kind of mock religion in the sense that all of the old religions, the ancient religions, Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Christianity, Islam, all of that stuff, basically the creation, the existence of Thor and Wonder Woman in their respective universes says one thing. Your religious stories are all lies, because that's not actually what happened. See, here's what really happened. But of course, they never go into the whole here's what really happened concept. It's a consistent, subtle wink. Because of the existence of Thor, that means that Christianity is wrong on multiple counts, or at least the modern day Christians believing there is only one God. Then, of course, you've got over in DC, the existence of Wonder Woman, the actual daughter of Zeus, for fuck's sakes, spits in the face of that same exact concept that that the Christian God, Yahweh, is the only God that exists. And then, of course, over in Vertigo, we had the Lucifer story arc, which pretty much mocked Christianity in almost its entirety, which was funny as fuck and entertaining.
But yeah, that is what they're doing.
Yeah. They are basically deciding that they know more about the comic books that people have loved and the industry that people have loved for a long time. Claiming, of course, that they are fans themselves. I loved that argument online somebody tried to use one time. Oh, well, you're trying to act like we're not fans. We are. Really? If you're a fan, then why are you constantly trying to change the thing you claim you're a fan of, you fucking idiot? You're a fan, but it could be better? No. Does it matter that Peter Parker is a black kid? Yeah, it actually does. I'm not going to lie about that. Peter Parker's always been a white kid. However, Miles Morales is the black kid. You have your black Spider-Man right there. And then we, of course, have Spider-Man 2099. There's your Latin Spider-Man right there. By the way, Miles Morales, obviously, by the name alone, is also half fucking Mexican. So there you go. Or I guess he would be half Puerto Rican. I'm not sure what ethnicity it is.
Yeah, either way.
Either fucking way, yeah. So, like, you've got your diversity when it comes to the spider people, because there's, like, multiple spider women. There's even Silk, for fuck's sake. The Asian Spider Woman. I don't understand why you people can't just be fucking satisfied with the actual diversity the comic books did have, when it was organically giving you what you actually wanted. But it wasn't fast enough, so you basically forced Marvel to pretty much push it even further and further and pissed everyone off in the world with your shitty fucking writing. Fucking hate this goddamn teens.
So what article do you have?
I have several articles that Ishtar actually left behind because, like I said, she's not going to be here today because, wait a second. I'm looking over at the chat right now. There's so much wrong with the Acer in Marvel, though, that it's not the same. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Bruni, but go ahead and reiterate, I guess. You didn't mention Silk is also supposed to be Peter's half-sister. Oh, I didn't actually know that about Silk. I'm not going to lie, that's actually a really cool and interesting plot twist. It kind of makes you think, well, who was cheating on who? Was it Mama Parker or Daddy Parker that was knocking boots with somebody else? But no, actually making Silk the half-sister of Peter Parker, that's actually a really cool fucking concept. I do love that idea. It's like, oh, goodness, he does have family other than Aunt May. And it's a girl who's got the same kind of powers as him. Bitchin'. Brother-sister superhero team, do not go the route that Japan would typically make it go. Please, for the love of God, don't do that.
Oh, now that you've said it, it's going to be Rule 34. You know
God
that.
Damn it. Yeah. Fuck.
Rule 34 happens the second you say it.
Oh, Death Harukin is basically confirming it was his dad, of course. That makes sense. Again, with the timelines and everything like that, you would assume that Peter was probably born sometime in the 1980s or a little bit in the early 1990s. And, there was that constant joke that the dad had a family on the side kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, that's a trope I don't really need to necessarily die immediately, just because it's like, it was a joke in a time period when it was actually funny still because it was true.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a couple of stories Ishtar left behind. One that's... the Sonic attacks. This one's interesting. More Americans are being evacuated from China following mysterious Sonic attacks. I'm not sure how to feel about that. I don't know what a Sonic attack is, but okay. A medieval mystery deepens in China. On Wednesday, June 6th, a U.S. government employee and his family were evacuated from the city of Guangzhou. She left these for me on purpose because she knows I struggle sometimes with the written names of people. If you say it, I can repeat it and it'll sound fine. But if I have to read it without any goddamn thing to go off of, I'm just going to sit here with a blank stare at that screen going, how do you pronounce this? Guangzhou? I'm just going to call him Guangzhou. In order to receive medical testing for unexplained neurological symptoms, a State Department spokesman said. The department comes 2 weeks after another government employee was evacuated from the city after experiencing mysterious symptoms that have been linked to the so-called Sonic attacks. You're not explaining what the Sonic attacks are. That afflicted U.S. embassy workers in Cuba last year. The Guangzhou employee reported, I don't know why I'm saying it like that, reported subtle and vague, but abnormal sensations of sounds and pressure. Okay. According to a state from the U.S. embassies, the consulate in China, and was later diagnosed with mild traumatic brain injury. The BBC reported, tell me what the Sonic attack is! Additional medical tests were administered to U.S. government employees in China following the first employee's evacuation, which resulted in several more individuals being diagnosed this week, the State Department said. Oh, my fucking God. It keeps going on, but let's go ahead and keep pushing it. It's not clear exactly how many Americans showed neurological symptoms or were evacuated on Wednesday, but the State Department said a number of individuals had been brought home for further medical testing. At least one of the evacuees worked for the American consulate in Guangzhou, the New York Times reported. Okay, if you're not going to tell me what the fucking attack is, what the Sonic attack is, I don't care anymore. These reports in China have expanded a medical crisis that began in Cuba in 2016 when a number of U.S. embassy employees reported hearing loud, bizarre noises and subsequently reported severe neurological symptoms. Oh, okay. I'm getting what it means now. After hearing the noises, a total of 24 employees and their family members were stricken with mysterious headaches, hearing loss, dizziness, and ultimately brain damage. 10 Canadian diplomats were also evacuated from the islands, showing similar symptoms, the Associated Press reported. Oh, so it wasn't just Americans, it was also some Canadians too. And yet the fucking title of this was about Americans only being evacuated. Way to be inclusive, life science, you bastards! The U.S. government has characterized these incidents as deliberate sonic attacks, so embassy workers by unknown attackers or actors. A report published in February in the medical journal JAMA, disputed the theory that a sonic weapon was to blame, but could not pinpoint an alternative explanation for these mysterious symptoms. Yeah, if people are hearing some strange fucking sounds and then all of a sudden they can't stand up, I'm pretty sure the sound is most likely at fault. Unless it's discovered there's some kind of strange, mysterious gas in the area. In which case, no, I could see that. In a state on Tuesday, June 5th, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that he had created a healthcare task force to deal with the unexplained healthcare incidents that have affected a number of U.S. government personnel and family members stationed overseas, the New York Times reported. Whether other embassy employees working outside of Cuba and China have experienced similar symptoms was not clear. So essentially what's happening is there's some asshole who's created some kind of a sound machine out there in China/Cuba, and it's causing people to become strangely sick.
Yep. Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Ren.
What's up? Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, guys. So I hear little blue hedgehogs are attacking people in Japan. Is that what I'm getting?
Little blue hedgehogs are attacking people in Japan.
Yeah. Xanax are on the march.
They must not know the way.
They do not know the way.
Yes.
Do not know the way.
So, where's my brother?
I do not know.
How are we going to hear about Florida man's exploits this week?
I don't actually know how we're going to get Florida man exploits. I mean, you, the eventual Florida man, would probably know more about Florida man exploits than us, but
I'll see what I can do. But in the meantime, I have some E3 news. If anybody wants some video game news.
Sure, let's jump into a little bit of video game news, because that Sonic one kind of pissed me off at first, and then eventually it made me realize there's some asshole pretending that he's fucking Dr. Doom overseas.
I know. Is he like a Bond villain or some shit?
Yeah, I don't know either. But obviously somebody's got some kind of a sound weapon overseas in China and Cuba, and they're basically fucking with people. Either it's a gigantic troll or someone somewhere is legitimately trying to develop some kind of like sonic weapon that'll kill people from a distance.
I want to see some like homegrown scientist in a homemade suit running around like blasting people with sound waves. Like a super villain. I want to see a super villain.
I want that too.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the best story. That would be the best possible ending to that story.
It would. But maybe not.
All right, well, I just watched the Bethesda E3 thing.
So did we.
Oh, yeah? Did you guys talk about it at all?
I watched it with Igor. I watched it with Igor. I'm currently still waiting to see when you can fucking pre-order the special edition.
I have not been watching E3 at all. I don't watch E3. Nothing necessarily against video games or anything like that. Lord knows I love video games. It's just E3 is a convention for video games, and I'm really not that into the conventions for video games. I get pissed off every time I watch one.
Oh, that's fine.
Sad because Blizzard never puts out new World of Warcraft shit.
There's that too. It's one of the reasons why I get pissed.
I
Then again,
just want the Fallout 76 special edition pre-order to be up already, because wearable helmets.
But it's gonna be so bad.
It's not an MMO, and Igor wants it, and he mostly wants the wearable helmet to go with his wearable Pip-Boy.
I just want to go to VidCon.
I want to do something nice for him, so I'm trying to.
Oh, you mean like an in real life helmet?
Yeah, for the special edition, they actually released. There is going to be a wearable armor, one of the helmets that the Brotherhood Steel for power armor. It's a wearable helmet with voice changer, light, and everything.
Well, I know what Igor is going to be for Halloween.
Yeah, he probably will be. But he has the wearable Pip-Boy that came with the Fallout 4 special edition, so he needs the helmet too because he wants it in.
Yeah, but it's going to be completely online. You can play solo, but since it's going to be hosted on online servers, you can say goodbye to any mods. Like, there's not going to be any mods available and shit. How can you possibly have it compatible with online servers that host up to 12 people? And, I mean, it's just, you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to tinker around with it at all. And that's kind of 3/4 of the fun of Fallout.
Yeah.
I'm here to announce my Get Brockus to BlizzCon fundraiser thing. That's not a thing.
Well, one cool thing is I'm going to go and download Quake. You go to Quake.com. There's a new Quake. You can download it for free, play it for free, and then it's like a week-long free trial. And once that's over, you have the game for free if you get it this week.
Oh, nice.
You don't have to pay for shit. So I'm going to go check that out. And they announced Elder Scrolls 6, but it was just like a fucking screenshot almost. I mean, it was like 3 seconds of like a town, like a big city with towers and shit coming into view.
So let me get this straight. These motherfuckers, Bethesda, have made me wait this long for an Elder Scrolls 6 game after they just shoved fucking Skyrim on so many different platforms down my throat and said, buy the game, buy the game, buy the game. And I kept saying, I just want a new one. Can you give me a new one? No, we'll give you a new Fallout. I don't want that anymore. Fuck you, can't buy the game. And now they're announcing Elder Scrolls 6, but they don't give you shit.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, I don't think it's going to come out to like 2022 or 2021, something like that, like years.
I have a weird love.
They didn't show shit.
Bethesda. It's like Bethesda knows how to make me fucking excited.
Oh, so I was pointing out, you don't have to connect all the time for Fallout 76. There is a single player mode.
Yeah, but this in the single player mode still like run off a dedicated server.
I don't know.
Like it's just like an online game, but it's private. Nobody can join.
Yeah, I guess they haven't released much. Like I said, all I want them to do is fucking drop the pre-order availability, so that way I can at least get the pre-order in.
Right.
Okay, somebody's in the chat trying to say Skyrim is love Brockus. Let me clarify how much I love Skyrim. There was this one time I had basically decided I'm going to download the Dovahkiin fucking song. Mm-hmm. And it was a horrible mistake because I played it every fucking chance I had. Get out of the shower, play Dovahkiin. Why? Because I just got out of the shower. I'm now preparing myself for the day, and I'm going to go and tackle fucking life.
You made yourself sing the song.
Yes, I did too. I played it while I was on the road heading from one city to another. I played it while I was taking a shit. I played it while other people were talking in public because I was at a Starbucks for whatever goddamn reason, just enjoying my fucking what the hell? I don't know what drink I got. The s'more or some shit like that. I think it was like a.
Ooh, that's delicious.
Yeah, I fucking love the shit out of Skyrim. Skyrim is amazing, but
they did make fun of themselves for putting Skyrim on anything. They had
I will say it was a little cringy, but that commercial was kind of funny. That it's like, okay, you're self-aware that you put Skyrim on everything.
Yeah, it is like they were releasing Skyrim on Alexa and like the iWatch and the iFridge, all that shit. And they had Keenan.
I will say the beeper part was funny.
Yeah. But they had Key from Key and Peele, like yelling at Alexa, like trying to do the dragon voice and like saying the words, and Alexa's like, "I don't understand you."
That's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
But yeah, like it's just I love Skyrim. I just didn't need that much Skyrim. Digitally remastered HD Skyrim, gimme. Skyrim on the Switch. I don't have a Switch. I don't need it. Skyrim on the PC. Okay, yeah, I'll take that. Skyrim here, Skyrim there, Skyrim everywhere.
Don't forget the Skyrim game that's now going to be on your iPhone.
I don't need that much Skyrim. I love Skyrim, but Jesus fucking Christ, and give me something new.
Look who decided to show up.
Hello, guys. I apologize. I had to take care of something, and I got home later than I expected. That's totally my fault. I am here ready to go.
I have a Florida man story.
It's not as good as mine. It's not as good as mine.
I bet you it's the same one as yours.
You know what? After we got done talking about the Skyrim, I want to hear this Florida man story now. Let's
Mark's Florida man story.
Let's jump into the Mark's Florida man story, and then we'll eventually come to Rob's Florida man story.
All right.
I don't want to read the headline of the story yet. I want to start the article, because I mean the headline will make you laugh, but the article is even better if I don't give you the headline. So, even in the long history of Florida man stories, this one stands out. On Friday morning, Pasco County Sheriff's deputies received a report of a man driving a stolen vehicle. According to deputies, the man drove the car into a ditch and tried to run off. Then things got weird, even by Florida standards. As deputies took Cody Blake Hession, 23 of Holly Hill, they also took into custody a capuchin monkey named Monk, clutching the front of Hession's shirt and wearing a diaper. Deputies, whose body cameras recorded the bizarre scene in a town about 20 miles northwest of Tampa, allowed the monkey to give Hession a hug before wildlife officials took the primate. So a dude got arrested with a monkey in a diaper that wouldn't let go of him.
Of course.
I did have that story, you son of a bitch.
I'm now curious. Are we sure that's the monkey's name? Because it's sounding like my fictional monkey partner, Choo Choo.
They say his name is Monk, but maybe the dude was like Florida man and he couldn't say monkey. He's just like, look, monkey. I don't know.
Okay. So Zell is probably the only person in chat who would know this particular story, but there's this monkey character that I came up with the fantasy RP. I didn't play the monkey. The monkey was my pet, my companion. He was a thief who threatened people with a knife, and he was like damn good at that. And he hates birds. And in that same campaign, Zell had a character who decided to fucking use a bird as his companion, to which my monkey wanted to constantly kill it. That's why every once in a while you might hear, after reminding him specifically, you might hear me and Zell on a stream go, Mickey, no!
Oh.
Fucking weirdos.
It's a funny thing, but like, I'm kind of jealous that this Florida man had a monkey friend. That's bullshit. What was the fucking headline?
The headline is, let's see, Florida man trying to flee arrested with monkey and diaper clutching his shirt. That would have just given away the whole thing. I love the monkey thing.
I want a monkey. I want a monkey friend.
There's video.
Oh,
Mark, Brockus, you can train a fucking monkey to steal, but you can't train it to use a goddamn toilet.
No. I would train the monkey to actually like use a toilet and everything.
Monkey in a diaper. Like that's why it's fucking amazing. Because like fuck, you can get a hug from a monkey anywhere. But monkey in a diaper? You kidding me?
I've never gotten a hug from a monkey. I want okay.
I will hang out with the wrong people.
Brockus just wants a hug.
I do. I kind of want to.
Schmeckle, give him a hug.
Schmeckle's off getting drunk. Beer is more important to him than fucking me. So there you go.
At least the man knows where his priorities lie.
I also want a midget friend, but that's for another time.
You are weird.
No, Zell, I do want a monkey. I want a spider monkey. I don't want a chimpanzee or anything bigger because those things will rip my fucking face off. But a spider monkey are incredibly docile, especially if it's a few generations into domestication and everything. And they are very friendly, and you can train them very easily to go and do things like fetch shit for you.
I had a bunch of monkeys as a kid.
When I say monkey, I mean literal monkey, like the things we actually call a monkey, not chimpanzees. People call them monkeys, even though they're actually apes.
Oh, well, mine were sea monkeys. They're actually little sea creatures.
I hate people like you, dude.
I'm not going to be...
Sea monkeys are apes. Dolphins are mammals, you fucking assholes.
What? They are actually...
I know. I know.
You know what? Whales are mammals, too.
I know they are.
All hail the blue one.
Yes, all hail blue whale. And also, yes, dolphins are males. Mammals.
All dolphins.
One of the things that we make fun of about dolphins is that they're probably the only mammal species that gets away with rape constantly.
Yeah, they only fuck males, dude. That gives that dolphin fucker guy a whole new aspect, doesn't it?
It kind of does a little bit. Like what? Dude, what were you doing with that blowhole? That's wrong.
I actually have a story that segues.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay. Rob, we will come back to one of your Florida man stories. Jump into Bren's because apparently she can segue.
Get the segue going. By all means.
That beluga whale certainly doesn't have legs, and here's what it does have. Apparently, and I'm screen sharing, this photo here made people think that beluga whales have legs.
No.
Let's see.
It's just an awkward shot.
Yes. It is an optical, it's just a weird camera angle. Basically, those are actually muscles that, because of where they swim, it helps them get along, but they are not indeed legs. It is blubber and muscle.
Yeah. Okay.
Blubber.
I have a question.
Look at that whale bulge.
Are we sure this is an actual beluga whale and not one of those fat chicks from TEDx putting on a mermaid suit?
Nope, this is an actual beluga whale.
Okay.
Are we sure that's not Opal in her natural environment?
She's not fat.
You leave his girlfriend alone.
My wife is
Sorry, bro.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You guys can rip on her all you want. I will just
on your girlfriend there.
If I feel like you guys... She's not actually my girlfriend, but Bropel is a thing.
Yeah, we had to have
Bropel is a thing. Except the Bropel.
Fred had to white knight for her, you know.
That was actually kind of funny.
For you. Just for you, because you're too much of a pussy to white knight for your own girlfriend.
Oh no! It's been quite obvious. Like I've been bitched at multiple times on streams because I talk about poisoning the whale way too much, so I'm not really allowed to bring them up often. And recently, I got bitched at by Zell on a stream because I white knighted for Opal. So clearly, there's a pattern here. There are certain things I just am not allowed to do on streams anymore.
There is nothing wrong with trying to defend your waifu.
I just find it fucking funny. I think the one that makes me laugh the most is that I fanboy over poisoning the well so fucking much I'm not allowed to talk about them on streams anymore.
So why are you mentioning them now?
Because Kadunt isn't here to yell at me, but she's probably listening, so I should shut up now. Anyway,
He's dating Opal, but he lets Cadunt tell him what to do.
dude, if you actually met Cadunt, you'd pretty much be in the same boat. Like, if Cadunt tells you to do something, you really should do it, or you're gonna regret it.
You know what? I probably don't doubt that.
Yeah. Cadunt is one of those girls from like fucking anime, like the tough mean girl, that the badass, like Goku's wife, Chi-Chi.
No, Cadunt is Bulma.
Cadunt is Chi-Chi and Bulma fused into one overpowered fucking, chick.
I would tap that in a fucking minute, dude.
I got so many responses on the nickname for her vagina is now the Void. So many responses. As soon as I asked who wants to fill the void, everyone responded. It's just like, yes, me. I fucking volunteer as tribute. I was just like, wow, that's okay. But yeah, Zell's he's like, yeah, Cadunt could be scary.
Yep.
Don't you live with Cadunt, Zell?
He does, which is why he could confirm that how scary she can be.
Don't go too much though; she might hurt you.
Yeah, dude, guys, think about this. Vegeta and Goku, despite how much they go against what their wives' wishes are, and despite how much they piss their wives off, they are still consistently living in fear of Bulma and Chi-Chi. That's how Cadunt is for me and Zell. She's not our wives. She's just our like one of our best fucking closest friends, and she scares the shit out of us. That's how Cadunt is, but we love her to death. She's such a wonderful person, but at the same time, we don't like pissing her off because bad things happen.
Did Vegeta actually marry Bulma, or did he just get her preggers?
No, yeah, he got her first, but sometime after that, they actually did legitimately get married. It was the whole off-screen thing.
Thank God they didn't do fucking Bulma's wedding for DBZ Super, dude.
They may have done something like that in a DBZ manga, though. Like that's probably in the manga, but I wouldn't actually know. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to one of our next stories. We can nerd out all we want about, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, which I completed recently, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed. That ending. But let's go on to one of Rob's Florida Man stories.
All right, this is more. This is kind of a Florida woman story.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I believe it's a Florida woman story. This one is titled "Florida didn't run FBI background checks on gun buyers for a year because of a forgotten login." This is apparently some like serious government oversight, and the person who did this was not a member of the NRA. Thank you very much.
I just want to acknowledge one thing. Zell in the chat is saying, hold on a second.
What we got?
She could kill me. Speak good of the Chinky.
Is she a Chinky? Oh, that's adorable. Does she got the chink eyes?
Yes, she has chink eyes. I love that idea. I fucking can't really see very well, bitch.
Does she got a flat ass and no tits? That's just adorable.
She's got a fat ass and big tits.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. Anyways, continue with your story. I just had to point that out because it was fucking funny.
Oh, that's good. All right. The state of Florida failed to conduct national background checks on tens of thousands of applicants looking to procure a concealed weapon permit for more than a year. And the reason is about to get as dumb as it gets. The person in charge of performing the checks forgot their login info. An Office of Inspector General information obtained by the Tampa Bay Times showed that from Florida 2016 until March 2017, the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services stopped using FBI's National Instant Crime Background Check System, the primary database to make sure concealed carry applicants don't have a checkered past in other states. No applicants during that period underwent the required national background check. That is fucking nuts, and the details of the Inspector General investigation only make it worse. According to the report, just 2 employees regularly access the FBI database. Lisa Wild, the employee who was found to be negligent, and a mailroom employee who had next to no training with the system. Wild stopped using the database in February 16 and waited 40 days before reporting that she was having trouble logging into her account to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Infuriatingly, Wild didn't go through the proper channels to report the issue, choosing to send an email to the public email address for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's firearm purchasing program instead of directly contacting someone who could help. Her email was forwarded to the proper person, and she was informed the username she provided was wrong. Wild was given the correct username, which hadn't been used to log in for more than a month, but still reported experiencing issues. An employee at FDLE told Wild that he could help fix the problem, but she would have to contact him via phone call. He also reported trying to call Wild, but she didn't pick up. Wild never called or never followed up on the email, opting instead to just not conduct the background checks. This went on for more than a year until another employee finally realized the department hadn't received a single denial from the FBI database for quite some time. Okay, I'm going to pause there.
Wow.
This is fucking government bureaucracy at its finest, right here. The fact that we can have one person for an entire state just to be retarded and can't remember their login and have the entire service go unchallenged for an entire fucking year. That is absolutely insane. That person should be fucking prosecuted. That person should be held partially responsible for that fucking Parkland shooting, as far as I'm concerned. Well, I don't know about that. But if that guy got a gun and that gun, like if that, I don't know. If that guy got a gun that was cleared by her, if that guy used a gun, then yes, she should be partially responsible.
Yeah, I have to actually agree with you, Rob. Like, that's one of those situations where clearly somebody fucked up and we see how and why, and it is the dumbest fuck up ever. Now, in the past, maybe a fuck up came about where somebody looked at a person's background record and everything like that, and somebody from the FBI saw like they had gone to jail for armed robbery. But the armed robbery wasn't at gunpoint, it was at knife point. So it's just like, no, I guess they could have a gun. They don't seem to have any problems.
Through an oversight or something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. Like maybe even it was a 10-year prior sentencing. Like, you know, they had gone to jail for holding somebody up at knife point at a convenience store and shit. And but after they got out of prison, they eventually, like, you know, were reformed and they were okay. And the FBI person who was looking it over was just like, nah, it's okay, approved. And then that motherfucker gets the gun, goes to that same convenience store and holds it up at gunpoint and is arrested later on. Like, that's a fuck up, obviously, where somebody was not thinking. This, however, is a fuck up where somebody is stupid, retarded, and fucking lazy and could have potentially, like, hurt other people indirectly. If your job is to actually do background checks for people, do not do that shit lightly. If you can't remember your fucking password, guess what? Go to your supervisor and tell him, I legitimately forgot my password. I am so sorry about this. Can I get a new one?
And does it take you 4 fucking months to get a new password in the first place?
And then what was it? You said that went on for over a year, that this person...
4 months before she reported it, and then the rest of the year to figure out the snafu. Like, she was still having problems with her login, and she just kind of ignored it, was lazy about it, and it ended up having, lasting for a year. And I haven't read anywhere in this that this person has been fired or suspended or anything.
That's fucking stupid, man. And of course it had to be Florida.
Oh, okay. She was fired.
Oh,
but
good.
Okay, let's see. So just how many applications went through without being reviewed by the FBI during that period? According to the Florida Agriculture Department's annual concealed weapons permit report, there were nearly 275,000 applications from July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
That isn't just a fuck up. That is a major fuck up.
Even if it's 1% that shouldn't have guns, that's 25,000 people.
Yeah, and 6,470 of those were denied, and nearly half of those denials were due to incomplete applications. So about 3,200 people were denied for legit reasons that they just didn't fuck up the application, and they were denied because they were deemed a risk to having a concealed carry permit. And for comparison's sake, the 2018 report, and that's going to be between June 30th, 2017 and July something 2018, which we have not quite hit yet. But that shows 200,000 applications during the same period, but saw 2,000 more denials with the federal background check in place. So I'm not sure how many actually have gotten through. So it looks like there were less denials, but a far more wide margin because there were 200 applications instead of 275,000, 200,000.
No, yeah, it's people
And
like
so
that.
there should probably be about 6,000 denials within there if the average is going to hold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. Like, God, it's people like that really, they kind of assist in the whole, like, you know, gun law reform bullshit.
Yeah,
that
so this
keeps
is less
getting
of
pushed and
Florida. This
everything
is
like
like
that.
a legit Florida fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
The only way
is a
this story
massive
could be
fuck up.
more fucked up is if this person fucking ran out of their job naked on PCP or some shit like that. Fucking punch a cop.
No, that would have improved the fucking story. The only thing that would have made it worse is if it turns out that there were several shootings. Doesn't matter if they're school shootings, but several shootings throughout the entire state of Florida because of that big fuck up
And
for
I am betting there are. I'm betting there are.
There's a possibility, there's no guarantee. Obviously, that's something that they would have to look into and figure out on their own. And most likely, that department is not going to release that kind of information right away. They're probably going to let it die out and hopefully make it go away because nobody wants that kind of publicity where everyone who actually sees some kind of a shooting, like there was a shooting at the Florida National Bank, something along those lines. There was a shooting there. 4 people were killed, and it turns out the gunman had received their gun legally, parentheses or you know, quotation marks, and they had done it during this fucking year period where there was a massive fuck up happening because dumb shit doesn't want to fucking do her job.
Pole shooting happened during this time.
That's what other people are saying. The pole shooting happened at the time. But again, there's no guarantee that a firearm was not purchased beforehand.
Right.
So we have excuse me. Oh, that fucking weed. Sorry, man.
There we go.
Agriculture Commissioner Adam Putnam told the paper just 365 applications required the federal background check. Upon learning of Wild's negligence, the department immediately completed full background checks on the applicants in question, and it ended up revoking 291 of them. So, I mean, okay, that's almost 300 people who slipped through that should not. So this article doesn't say anything about any of them actually killing somebody during that time, but
yeah, there were still fucking over 200 people who had their fucking licenses revoked. That right there should be a massive wake-up call to that department and a massive wake-up call to any department that actually handles these exact fucking things. Just because, like, over 200 revoked licenses for firearms because of that fuck up. Wow. That's
just 200?
Over 200.
I know.
Dude, I mean, like 200. When it comes to people who shouldn't have guns, that's 200 people out there who should have guns.
But I feel like that number is too low for what, 275,000 guns going out?
Yeah.
At 275,000 applications, these are all the ones that were revoked out of all the applications that were missed by this person. So apparently, whoever is cleaning up this mess took it seriously and like immediately reviewed every single specific application this woman didn't let slide through. So at least there's somebody fucking with a thick towel cleaning up the spill.
Yeah. And Bruni's in the chat trying to say that you realize that they would have gotten the firearms. They would have gotten those guns on the black market anyway, right? Not in this situation. If
No,
they
these
wanted
are
to get
people who
firearms,
attempted to get them legally and
Yeah.
should not have gotten them legally.
yeah, basically, it's one of those situations where somebody who was not allowed to have a gun or a gun license was given a gun and a gun license. Now, anyone could possibly get a gun on the black market. You could probably walk up to just about anyone who you might know who openly talks about how they acquire their guns illegally and such, and most likely you could buy one off of them for a relatively high price. To have your gun illegally. And if you're caught with it, you're now caught in a situation that is fucking terrible for you because of the fact that you do not have a license to own the gun, you do not have a license to carry the gun, and you do not have a license to conceal the gun. In other words, you are breaking multiple laws by having that gun in possession. However, these people have a license to own, carry, and conceal their firearms.
Thank you, Brock, because you broke that down like nitty bitty, itty gritty.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it.
I
got another Florida man story.
We're gonna step away from Florida man for the moment because we're probably gonna jump into another one of these fucking life sciences.
Sciences or one of my articles.
What would your article be?
Disney slammed by fans for erasing major bisexual character from Mulan remake.
Okay, I'm gonna make the audience just a little angry, and then you're gonna piss them the fuck off. So I'm gonna go with this. Why does artificial intelligence scare us so much? Then we're gonna jump into yours because Jesus Christ. When people see machines that respond like humans or computers that perform feats of strategy and cognition mimicking human intuity, they sometimes joke about a future in which humanity will need to accept robot overlords. This is a joke, yes, but we don't want it to be a reality. But buried in the joke is a seed of unease. Science fiction writer and popular movies from 2001: A Space Odyssey, 1968, to Avengers: Age of Ultron, 2015, have speculated about artificial intelligence (AI) that exceeds the expectations of its creators and escapes their control, eventually competing, and enslaving humans, and targeting them for extinction. Now, I'm not going to continue into this article because it goes into more scientific stuff and it actually uses examples. It even has a title for a paragraph part, which is called Fear and Loathing, which is funny. But this is an interesting idea.
But the examples they gave are bullshit, though. It fucking Age of Ultron, are you kidding me? It's because of two movies: War Games, Terminator 2.
I wouldn't just go with Terminator 2. Let's be honest there. It was at first 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yes, but Terminator. You admit it. Terminator 2 is the one that got people really fucking talking about it.
Oh, Terminator 2 definitely got people talking about it in the 80s and 90s because Terminator was in the 80s and Terminator 2 was in the 90s. But it was The Matrix that really exploded that topic even further. Let's be honest here. It was The Matrix that really fucked with everybody even more on the whole AI system.
I wouldn't say The Matrix messed with people on AI. It's more like, are we even living in reality? That was what The Matrix did.
Skynet.
I mean,
Skynet is the ultimate example of AI going rogue.
Yes, but The Matrix was the one that gave us the idea that the Matrix, that the AI had not just gone rogue, but also enslaved the people and turned us all into batteries. To the point where now we have to actually ask the existential question: is this even real? Are we actually just living in some computerized dream and are nothing more than some sort of living battery for a power source that the machine overlords are actually using? That's where the Matrix fucked with everyone's head. It wasn't just fucking with your concept of reality. It was fucking with the idea of the overlords and how far they've gone. Skynet is just a terrifying future scenario played real. But the Matrix, that's a fucking nightmare on its own level.
There's a book out there called Taking the Red Pill, which is a collection of essays by mathematicians and philosophers, stuff like that. There's some articles talking about how the technology in the Matrix could become a reality, like for instance, the spikes through the back of the head for information download, shit like that. But there was this one crazy one talking about how we are vastly more likely to be living in a simulation than reality, simply because like once we hit that level of technology where we can create a simulation that's indistinguishable from the real world, we'll start doing it, creating entire world simulations for things like education, for classes to go on field trips in different times, like with it being indistinguishable from the real world. And since those created worlds would be so much more vastly numerous than the real world, our experience is that much more likely to be a simulation than actual reality.
Yeah, philosophers are full of shit.
For sure. But it was an interesting read, is all I'm saying.
Real quick, Joseph Kerwin for $2. I need a
Plato's
license to own a
Cave,
gun.
yes, bam.
Sure about that. Yes, Joseph Kerwin, you do need a license to own a gun legally. And if you get caught with a gun illegally, guess what happens to you?
You get arrested.
Exactly. So yes, you do need a license to own a gun legally. And you want to own a gun legally because it's bad if you don't have a gun legally. You understand the difference, right? I'm not going to go into fucking this whole goddamn gun control argument because that is a rabbit hole of stupidity I don't want to fucking go down right now.
Please don't. Last time we had the Canadian yelling at Sinatra, and it was a long thing, and it was long, and let's not.
Yeah, it's a goddamn annoyance. So let's instead go down another bullshit rabbit hole of people are reading too much into stuff because fucking fandom shippers need to stop.
And Brockus, the chat is right. You don't need a license to own a gun. You need a license to go hunting. You need a license to conceal and carry. But you just have to be, pass a background check to own a gun. You don't need a license. You just have to pass the background check.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. We can argue semantics all fucking day. I don't want to get into it.
All right.
That's not semantics. That's kind of a...
Mark. Pause that discussion and have it at a later date. That's a rabbit hole that causes a 3-hour-long discussion. Disney fans have hit the company for appearing to cut out a major character from Mulan in the remake, who has been interpreted, cut out a major character who has been interpreted by many as bisexual. Li Shang, the primary love interest, who is still in the movie, in the 1998 original, also served as Mulan's commander, though the apparent casting call for the remake suggests he has been removed. This article was written before it came out. They had casted him. They are complaining, however, that over the years, many fans have suggested he is bisexual because he appears to show an interest in Mulan when she is disguised as a male soldier called Ping, as well as when she is eventually revealed to be a woman.
Well, I don't know. If there was a guy out there that I was sexually attracted to, and then I found out that he was a woman, I'd be like, holy fuck, it's okay. It's actually a woman. No wonder I'm fucking attracted to him. You know what I mean? There's just something about him. Like, it makes sense now.
Yeah, okay. So let me go ahead and break this down for a lot of people then. One, this takes place in China. This takes place in a specific time in China when it most likely had a bunch of very androgynistic men who looked like women, and that was probably a very common thing, was the man loving. I don't know if anybody ever actually knew that about China, but in almost every culture, at some point in the culture, gay sex was a thing. I don't know what else to fucking say at that point. Even then, let's just move on a little bit, okay? Because clearly people are actually reading too far fucking into this. Yes, the captain did actually think that Ping was fucking attractive, but it wasn't like immediately all at once like, oh, and who's this gorgeous hunk of man over here? No. He never once actually did shit like that. He just started to find on him. He never really made a move on him. He never hit on him or anything like that. He just started to feel a little funny. Like, I kind of find this girly boy very attractive. Do you not get that whole concept? I find this girly boy attractive. In other words, he is obviously attracted to secondary sex characteristics. He's attracted to boys, if you want to go that far, who look specifically like women. And once he finds out,
the only man he's attracted to is actually a woman.
Yes, and the only
it's like let's not miss that very distinct distinction.
She's hiding her tits. Clearly, no one's looking at her dick. That's non-existent, anyways. Even though there were a couple of times where somebody could have accidentally seen, vagina instead of fucking penis. And yeah, this guy, once found out that it was actually a woman, was pissed off. Not because it was a woman, but because, let's face facts here, it's China, when women weren't allowed to do anything except be moms. For fuck's sake, you idiots are reading too much into shit like that. I have seen way too many fucking fan theories on Disney characters that have just boggled my fucking mind. Like, how did you get
Alice
that
is a lesbian incest chick.
Alice is a lesbian incest chick. Where did that come from?
Mulan was the first trap.
Yes.
In Disney,
quick little correction on my part. The character of Li Shang, it looks like they haven't casted yet, or they won't be casting. So this article is speculating on that point because they're still casting the movie at right now. But that's my little thing from the article, and just double check my facts. People are, however, complaining that the apparent casting calls circulating online suggests Li has been replaced by a new character, Cheng Hong something, I cannot pronounce the last name, who sees Mulan as his chief rival when she's disguised as Ping. He falls for her when she's revealed to be a woman. Fans are not happy with the apparent change, considering it seems to erase previous queer subtext from the original.
Oh my God! It's a Disney movie.
Thought that something was happening, and it doesn't actually happen. It's not a real thing. You're pissed because, well, the subtext. Shut the fuck up! You created that so-called subtext. You fucking idiots.
There was so much subtext that Hermione was going to grow up to be a stripper, and that didn't happen. That pisses me the fuck off. Holy God damn you, J.K. Rowling.
No, you know what the
character to be a stripper in her adult years. That's pretty much.
You want to know the real subtext of Harry Potter and why some fans were actually quite pissed off? Because even later on, J.K. Rowling herself realized it was a mistake. And I think it's mainly because the fans were pissed off because of all of the buildup to that point didn't make sense.
The buildup between Ron and Hermione, and then you have Hermione ended up with Harry. Yeah, that didn't make any sense either.
I thought Harry ended up with Ginny and Ron ended up with Hermione.
This is another. That's the addition that doesn't make sense because she gave Ron and Hermione the relationship. She shipped them.
Yeah.
But she didn't know what to do with Harry, so she eventually just gave Harry Ginny.
Which makes no sense because he had a better relationship with that Asian character?
Cho Chang.
He had the yellow fever. You should have stuck with that shit.
Dude, seriously, JK basically wrote, she can write an amazing story, but one of the things she massively fucked up on was the actual love interest behind her most, main characters, which was Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Hermione and Harry had the closest relationship friend-wise, and it would have made way more sense if Harry and Hermione had actually gotten together. Cho Chang was a bitch no one liked. Cunt typically likes the Asian character. She did not like.
Yeah, I like Cho Chang.
I was not a fan of Cho Chang because of the way she acted towards Harry during the Order of the Phoenix book. She was kind of a bitch. And by kind of a bitch, I mean she was pretty much a fucking bitch the entire time. She kept comparing Harry to fucking Cedric.
Yeah, but that
she
makes
kept
sense. That
neglecting
makes
the shit
sense
out of him.
if you're making Cho Chang the final love interest, where they get together a little bit and then they grow apart, and then something happens to bring them back together.
I'm
Like
not
that.
going to get into it. I'm not going to get further into it than I already have, but basically the Hermione and Ron relationship made no sense. Cho Chang and Harry splitting and going their own separate ways, that made sense, but them never coming back together didn't make sense. Ginny and fucking Harry never made sense.
Fuck no.
Well,
they never did. I mean, they always had Ginny always be starstruck around Harry when she's a kid and shit like that, but they don't build that relationship between them.
It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, Cho Chang's relationship with Harry is built up way more than fucking Ginny's relationship with Harry.
Yeah.
All right.
Our fundamental problem in the whole thing was having gingers in the book to fucking begin with. No one believes that someone would pick a ginger to date. No,
I love it.
A whole family of story-wrecking gingers.
Yep.
Does anyone want to hear a quote-unquote fan comment that's mentioned in this article?
Oh, fuck. Go ahead.
Love to hear a fan comment that's mentioned in this article.
This fan commented, when you want to support the upcoming Mulan remake because Disney cast a gorgeous, talented actress who's actually Chinese to play Mulan, but they're also replacing bisexual icon Li Shang with a random misogynistic dude who will overshadow Mulan's journey and add zero good elements to the story.
When they say misogynistic,
who said that?
It just means straight.
It just says another added. And they are not listing people who actually commented.
Obviously, they can't, because if they did, they probably fucking see a lot of people hating on these. I want to tell that person right now, you deserve to get punched in the fucking throat by a goddamn midget, you idiot.
Yeah,
is this guy misogynist because he doesn't want soldier dick? Even if it's like a chick dick?
He's a misogynist because when the bisexual fucking possibility in the stupid fans' minds was a thing, it made his misogyny against women palatable, because it was like, well, it was that time. But now that he doesn't like possible dicks, all of a sudden it's like, well, he's just a piece of shit now.
Yeah. The first fan comment.
Voodoo on him.
ITR probably meant it cannot even begin to describe how uninterested I am in Disney turning Mulan into a story about a guy who only respects Mulan as a soldier and a rival when he thinks she's a man, and suddenly sees her as fuckable when he finds out she's a woman.
That's literally what the story does in the movie originally. What the fuck?
Well, and also they're making a big point. Yeah, Mulan is being casted with a lot of Chinese actors. So it's a Chinese story. It kind of, if they hired, Disney knows what they'd get slammed for. If they hired any white chick to play Mulan, they would be decimated. The other side would explode with articles.
By the way, I want to take this time to point out that when they made LeFou gay in the live-action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, which was complete shit, by the way, but when they made LeFou gay, they actually did it in a funny way. And they kind of made it very subtle. And it wasn't obvious the entire time, and it wasn't the main focus of the fucking story. So that being a massive argument point for, what was it, a year and a half, was fucking stupid to begin with.
I thought it was more of the black people everywhere.
I did not like
that. Was a little more controversial.
The black pastor with like 3 books in the town made no goddamn sense, because it was a French fucking village, and there would be there. I did not like the remake of Beauty and the Beast live action.
No, neither did I. They butchered my favorite fucking songs, and yes, you can call me gay and a faggot and a soy boy all you want for that. I love Disney shit. Eat my ass.
No, you won't get any argument from me. Fucking Hermione was absolute shit in that, and it was like she was just there for a paycheck. It pissed me off.
She was so monotone, it pissed me off.
And they added too many goddamn plot holes. Like, yes, I love the original animated Beauty and the Beast. It was the first movie I ever saw in theaters. I admit there are plot holes in the story. Plot holes galore with the curse and all that.
Yeah,
But
like
they added like so many goddamn more.
Yeah. No, with all the memory and how all the people are like relatives of the people in the village she lives in.
No, the most twisted part is you look back at the original animated one, and as Ren pointed out, the curse is pretty fucked up because when you actually consider the time frame and
Yeah.
how long she cursed a kid.
He's
cursed
like 13.
She cursed a kid who was home alone with no parents who didn't want to let a stranger in.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
fucked
it was
up.
like 10 or 11. It was like 10.
And
it
she
was
looked
10
like a
or
meth
11.
head.
But
Yeah.
here's the more questioning part is like when he claws the painting of his face, you have to ask yourself, well, then that would have to be a guess as to what he would look like. It turned out the painter was correct because that's his actual face. But at the same time, that's not what he would have looked like.
He was a
But
child.
then you move over to the curse in the live action remake, and you're just like, that's actually more fucked up. Cursing a kid and his entire servants and household, that was fucked up. Yeah, but you cursed an entire fucking town because one person just
didn't like you.
Oh
didn't
yeah,
like
she
it.
cursed the whole town, like everybody to forget about him, right?
And
Yes.
forget about their family members. If you think about it, the way
Yeah.
Disney rewrote it, there was a man in the village who was Mrs. Potts' husband who forgot he had a wife and kid.
Right?
The live action one was far more fucked up when you actually think about everything. Because here's the weird part: the curse in the animated one, it wouldn't have, if the curse had not been lifted, they would have just stayed that way forever, which means they would have still been alive, but there was no real possibility of death. In the live action, they were going to die if the curse wasn't lifted by the
They
time
just
limit.
turned into objects.
Well, did all the objects have memories of their past lives, or did they
Yes.
all remember being objects?
Yeah, they did actually. They all had memories of their past lives.
Well,
It
they
is
just couldn't leave the
proven
castle. They couldn't leave the castle and shit.
when Mrs. Potts, as her pot form, sees Mr. Potts and calls out to him. You realize that everyone in that castle had memories of the people in the town. The townsfolk, however, did not remember anyone.
Wait. Did she do that like as she's changing back into a regular chick?
No,
Like,
during the
like a split second before?
No, during the fight when they're all fighting the household appliances and shit like that.
She calls them out.
She's
calls
on
them.
she's on the stairs, and as she's pouring fucking hot tea onto a bunch of other assholes and stuff like that, she looks out to the crowd and she sees Mr. Potts, and she goes, "Oh no, Mr. Potts!"
And the fucked up part is that woman stuck around in the live action remake. She fucking stuck around the village.
Didn't a bunch of furniture get broken in that final fight? Like, aren't those people dying? Like a bunch of people dying?
Magic, the guy learned his lesson, whatever that was supposed to be, because reality is the biggest villain in that story wasn't Gaston, it was the fucking witch. But magic, they're all back to human and happy.
That'd be hilarious if it was like a dresser that jumped off a roof and crushed somebody but broke into 1,000 splinters, and then when the spell gets broken, turns back into a human, but it's like splattered everywhere.
Everywhere.
Pieces of this person just all over the fucking place.
Didn't they do a whole gay thing between Gaston and LePew? Don't they end up together in the movie?
No.
Gaston still dies.
No, Gaston has no idea that LeFou is actually gay. At one point, Gaston turns to LeFou and asks a question like, "Why are you still single?" And LeFou, leaning very gaily on his chair, says, "I'm told that I'm actually quite clingy." And that's like, Gaston has no idea. That's your hint that Gaston does not know that LeFou is gay. But it's a subtle hint throughout the movie when you meet up with LeFou, because he's clearly got a huge man crush on fucking Gaston.
Yeah, they turn that bar song, the Gaston song, totally gay. He turns that totally into I want to suck your dick, Gaston, rather than Buddy tried to cheer him up. You know what I mean?
And that was just the attitude of the song, right? Like how they portrayed it, because he clearly wanted to suck Gaston's dick back in the animated I mean, he was still in love with him back then. All he did was say, like, "You're the best, Gaston. Put your dick back in my mouth, Gaston." That was like his 2 lines in the whole movie. And but he sang that song, and nobody had a gay vibe from it at all, ever.
Well, because it was kind of like in the original and what it was meant to be is that LeFou, in a way, in a non-sexual way, kind of had a man crush on Gaston. Like, he wanted to be him. He wanted to be that embodiment of masculinity and all that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. That's why he looked up to him and hung around him as much as he did. I just don't... They hired actors who can't fucking sing.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a live-action musical, hire actors who have the ability to sing. Please.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you hear about the whole thing with Hermione that she thought the Beast was hotter than the human male actor?
That god-awful CGI shit?
Yeah, you can Google it right now. There are articles where she was talking about how she was sexually aroused by the Beast, but not by
the actor who played him.
Yeah, the actor who he becomes at the end, like the prince he becomes. She's like, no, he's not my type. But the Beast, that fucking
as soon as he gets cut, it's like, nah.
Yeah, it's like...
Okay, but how about we jump into a new story, one that I'm sure most of the people in the chat are going to greatly enjoy, one that I know, Rob, you are going to enjoy.
Oh, I can't wait.
Here's the title.
Now I'm excited.
Trump signals support for legalization, lifting federal ban on marijuana.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
God, keep winning,
going.
Trump. Do it, Trump.
Didn't like 3 fucking months ago he have like a big speech saying how he was supporting more crackdown on that shit?
Yeah, but then probably Colorado called and went, we're Republican. Do you know we got rid of income tax? We make so much money. State income tax is gone. And that's when most Republicans went, cutting taxes, you say? Tell us more.
But also, I think it was just he mentioned it once in the middle of the speech, and politicians, I think maybe that was just him saying some lip service to placate some people, because I mean, obviously it wasn't a focus of any one of his platforms or anything like that.
Yeah, but please legalize it on the federal level.
Yeah. So here's what the article is. President Donald Trump says he's inclined to support a bipartisan effort in Congress to ease the U.S. ban on marijuana. Asked Friday about proposal that would reshape the nation's approach to pot, Trump said he would probably end up supporting that. The federal ban was created to conflict with more than 24 states that have legalized marijuana in some form. The legalization would ensure states have the right to determine the best approach to marijuana within their borders. Some U.S. restrictions would remain, including recreational sales to people under 21. Republican Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado is co-sponsoring, and Trump said he supported him. When asked about the measure, Trump told reporters in Washington that we're looking at it, but I probably will end up supporting that, yes.
See, there you go. Colorado's gotten through to a bunch of the other Republicans going.
So, this is one of those situations where the extreme left, who's been screaming to legalize weed for so fucking long and despise Trump, have been putting their fists in the air going, legalize it, get rid of Trump. Trump's going to legalize it. I don't know.
And the left is gonna oppose every step of the way.
You're gonna have a bunch of people on the left going, "This is an awesome day," and Trump did something good, and then they explode.
Dude, Trump got North and South Korea to meet up, and they fucking said it was a bad idea. I mean, there's nothing he could do that would please these people.
There's enough potheads on the left that they're going to explode before they write their articles, because they won't know what to write. Because it's like, pot got legalized and taken off the federal thing. We can legally have weed.
I know what they'll write.
Oh.
The pot industry is sexist and misogynist and takes advantage of women and minorities. And,
Yeah.
And by promoting a pot industry, he's wanting to take advantage of these minorities and women. And I already know what they're going to say.
No, even better. What they're probably going to say is, well, Trump didn't actually pardon all those poor black people who are in jail for felonies for having possession of weed that were arrested and put in jail before this became legal. That means he's racist because he should, upon making it legal, have pardoned all of them. That's the route they're going to go.
And so if he doesn't pardon every single weed offender that's ever been fucking arrested, then he's still racist.
Yes.
But that's a really stupid take on the whole concept because, like, clearly the laws were still intact at that point. You can't exactly be too pissed off. Again, stop trying to erase history. Now, if you wanted to, say, take a different route and maybe allow these people to have a parole hearing that is actually way more understanding about the whole concept of, like, all right, so you have been arrested for weed and weed is now legal and so on and so forth. And yeah, maybe we're going to go ahead and let you go. We might let you go. Just don't do anything else that's fucking stupid.
The only thing I could see really is, like, those currently on trial for weed offenses probably would get dropped because they're like, it's legal now. They're over 21. Go. Now, if they were under 21, I could see it still sticking, but then it would turn into, like, underage drinking or something. Like, the charge would change drastically from possession to you were smoking up before you're 21. You go in the category of the kids who go into rehab because you were using stuff beforehand.
Right, but you don't think that they would increase, like, if they're going to legalize it across the board until you're 21, you would think that they wouldn't increase the penalty if, like, someone who's 20 or 19 or something gets busted with weed. It's still going to be the same thing as it is now, like a misdemeanor.
Exactly.
And you have to go to, like, NA.
That's what I meant.
Take piss tests and shit. Yeah.
That's what I meant. What most likely would happen is if Trump legalizes it, what would happen is anyone currently, like, 21 and over would just be cleared. They'd be taken out of the court system like, you're done, we're sorry, it's legal, go about your business. But under 21 would get the misdemeanor of intoxicated while underage. And would just get a misdemeanor and some small little things, which would still help them because misdemeanors could be done in juvenile court, which means they still have clean records by the time they're 18, if they were, depending on how old they are.
Yeah. Real quick, though, Joseph Kerwin, of course, put another $2 super chat in, and I didn't catch this earlier, but I'm going to acknowledge it now, and this is as far as I will go with it. Just say I was right. It'll be fun. No, it won't, and that's it.
I have to check my DMs.
Okay. Yes, I hope he does legalize weed, because I've been waiting for that for a while.
Bruni's trying to say no because it'll still be state law. Yeah, if the state wants to say that it's illegal, eventually it's going to have a vote of whether it should be legal or not. Not necessarily that they are obligated to do that, but chances are that if enough people in that state actually petition and protest for it or call for a vote for it, and they get the votes, then it will, of course, be, something that the state won't have much of a choice on.
And if the federal law changes, it'll be a lot easier to change the state law.
Yeah, and even then, it's state by state law. Like, at that point, it's the state's choice whether they want to have marijuana legal or not. Colorado, Oregon, Washington, California, and a few other states have already said, yeah, legalize it. Yeah. Let's go ahead and actually allow people to get high, because when you're high, you don't want to be violent.
And also, when you're high on weed. Stop is like federal raids on farms and dispensaries in the states where it's legal.
Yeah, it would.
And people who are following their state laws and starting businesses, and then all of a sudden they get raided by fucking by the war on drugs and shit, and all their plants get taken and they get put in jail for years and years, even though what they were doing was completely legal and they were following the letter of the law in their state.
Yeah.
That
Well,
would stop.
I imagine once the feds went legal, there'd be a number of states that would just start. They would basically follow suit real quickly. You know,
Yep.
the more right leaning one, the more left leaning ones it'd be overnight.
Right.
The right leaning ones, it might be like lots of phone calls to Colorado going, how exactly did you manage to do this? And then it would be basically set up probably in a similar way to Colorado.
Well, the right-leaning ones may hold out a little bit because most of the people who vote are old, and most of the old people lean right. Once that generation, I mean, it would just take a few years.
I don't know. Old people from the South love Willie Nelson.
Old people from the South also love money and the idea of no property tax and no state income tax.
Plus, they love the founding fathers, and let's be honest here, the founding fathers had their own fucking lands with weed crops everywhere.
I love the fucking founding fathers.
It would, however, also change that hemp could then be grown legally now.
Well, yeah, and then of course all the hippies that are pushing their hemp clothing and everything could actually start making a decent profit because
it's not just hemp clothing, hemp rope, which for a lot of people like farmers or anyone who needs stuff rope that's particularly strong, like say the military, they could get American-made hemp rope.
True.
Which would be a big draw for some actual jobs.
Yeah. There's a lot of benefits to lifting the federal fucking law on marijuana and shit, and just leaving it to state by state, and then of course allowing people from the states to inevitably decide, no, we want it legalized here. So this is a step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. But as Red pointed out, and as Rob pointed out, and as Mark pointed out, it's eventually going to somehow be turned around. This may be a step in the right direction, but you're still a piece of shit, Trump.
No, right. Dude, I was completely against Trump when he got elected. I didn't like Hillary very much. Well, I wouldn't say completely against Trump. I was against Trump. I thought it would be bad. But I also thought it was like, it's just another election. Who really gives a fuck, right? Yeah. But everything, like the scandals that Trump has are like 100% different than the scandals of other presidents. Like Obama was droning civilians, like American civilians that weren't in the country and shit like that. And it was completely brushed over. And then you have nothing burgers of scandals that Trump is doing that are headline news. And it's like the things that he's doing that I like are far outweighing the dumb, no proof scandals they are trying to bring up every day.
Oh, you mean you didn't think there was a giant conspiracy around Covfefe?
I knew that was a code word, but I thought that just meant like assassinate Merkel in Twitter speak. I shouldn't say that out loud, right? Those two words together. I was kidding, FBI. Listen to the context. Context still matters.
Well, actually, context still matters here in America. In the UK, not so much, apparently.
Yeah, context matters here.
Yeah, probably in Canada too, but for the most part, not very much in the UK. They will arrest you because they want to.
Well, don't you know?
Until a case happens to overturn Dankula's decision, context literally doesn't matter.
Well, because context is just you trying to use your cis white heteronormative privilege over the poor oppressed people, because context doesn't take away their bad fee-fees.
Yep.
I've read way too much of their shit.
Sounds like it.
It's the pitfalls of covering them. You start understanding their lingo. Not understanding their viewpoints. Just generally the retardation that's coming out of their mouth.
All right. Ren, do you have anything else, or are we going to jump into another?
I do. It's actually in the title.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we do have to get to my last Florida woman story because it is my piece of the resistance tonight.
We will do that one last. Ren, go ahead.
Aussie feminist slams singer and sportswoman for being virtually naked in a new documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Which documentary is this? Could you give me a title for a friend?
I will. We'll go through the article and you can figure it out.
Now.
Outspoken feminist Germaine Greer has launched a foul-mouthed rant at Beyonce over her racy onstage gear. The 79-year-old Aussie author, who is blasted virtually naked, sportswoman, she says she is sick of seeing female performers wearing skimpy clothing. So, her exact quote are, "Someone like Beyonce, who I think is a fantastic musician, a beautiful voice, voice as true as a bell, why does she always have to be fucking naked and wearing skimpy clothing? Why? I'm not saying you have to keep your clothes on, but why is sexual display part of the job? I might as well ask that question to a barmaid who says she doesn't get any tips if she doesn't show cleavage."
The sex sells, Germaine. Fucking deal with it.
To answer your question, it's part of a new BBC Two documentary. So, the title is Germaine Bloody Greer.
Yeah, and I can already find Beyonce naked on the internet if I want. I don't need a documentary to do that.
Yeah, she continues to be quoted as saying, "Why do women athletes have to be naked? I watched the bloody figure skating, and the woman is virtually naked. She's got a few wisps of cloth, and the man is in evening dress. You think nakedness is usually a sign of submission. It's a sign of inequality."
Oh my God.
They will find anything and everything to bitch about just because they fucking can. And it's sad, really, because it's like, wasn't it not too long ago that Beyonce in every aspect of fucking media was being praised as a feminist goddess? But now all of a sudden a feminist has decided, why does she always have to be naked? Well, in the past they used to say, oh, she can be naked if she wants because she owns it. She owns her sexuality. She's telling the world, this is me, this is what I look like, and you need to get over it. But now there's an Australian feminist who's essentially saying, well, enough is enough.
No, I think it's...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If Beyonce is your example of inequality, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
If Beyonce is oppressed and is unequal because she fucking has to show her ass, oh my God. Like, it's fucking Beyonce. She's like one of the richest people in the fucking world.
And Annie brings up a good point. To a lot of feminists, the problem isn't that women are naked. If someone like Teva Lard from the show Girls wants to go naked, they would praise her as, you are brave, you are strong, you are showing that the beauty standard is bullshit. But if the hot chick wants to wear a bikini because she just does, she is shamed as making herself seem like she is sexually submissive to the man because she's inviting the male games.
Yeah,
It's only
when
the
Lena
hot
Dunham
chicks.
did her naked photo shoot, she was fucking lauded as a feminist icon.
Because it's only the hot chicks.
Because she's hideously fugly.
That's the biggest goddamn problem. It's always the average looking girls or the ones who aren't, like, considered sex icons or sex goddesses and shit like that and all that stuff. The ones who are, overweight, misshapen, a little too skinny. Well, maybe not a little too skinny, but the ones who are overweight, misshapen, flabby, maybe they don't have the greatest look in the face, maybe they're frumpy, all that stuff. All of those chicks, like the fat acceptance fucking movement and all that stuff, all of those people, be naked, girl, you're beautiful. And when the woman who fucking just kills herself day after day, working out, eating healthy, doing exercise video, doing fitness stuff on their Instagram, their Snapchat, and their fucking all their social media sites and everything like that to promote healthiness, to promote better living with yourself and shit like that, showing off their fucking six packs and abs and all that stuff. Those are the women who need to keep their fucking clothes on and layer that shit up because no one needs to see your unrealistic body type. Really?
The Burning Witch in the chat says, I invite everyone's gaze and fuck anyone's opinion on it. Does that mean you're going to send tit pics?
I already got some. I got a lovely ass pic too. A very lovely ass pic.
Emma Watson is a perfect example of feminism. Feeble and stupid.
Yeah, well, it's because...
Why does everyone hate feminism so much? We just need men to save us.
Yeah, men save us by giving us all by just kowtowing to us because they don't know how to play the goddamn game.
Oh, Emma knows how to play the game.
You know what? I bet you that Australian fucking that writer, that Australian feminist who's essentially now bitching about, you know, Beyonce's sexuality and all this stuff, or her body specifically. I bet you she's probably not a very popular person IRL. She's probably not been considered the hot girl in school, and she's probably somebody whose personality does tend to piss off a lot of people who are not like-minded around her. And most likely is going after Beyonce because even though she is Queen Slay Girl, basically she doesn't like the fact that Beyonce gets all that attention and has to show her skin to do it. And I'm like, she got that attention without showing skin that much, actually. But okay.
Yeah. Well, again, it's if you're the hot chick, no one wants to see you. Why would guys want to see a hot chick? I mean, also, why attack cleavage?
I don't know.
Is it because she doesn't have any tits?
Oh! Speaking of cleavage and tits, thank you, Bitsy Rich.
Because I've always noticed the girls who have very, very little in that department can either go, they're very happy that they're very fine with it, or they go the direction of suddenly, that's whorish to show cleavage. And it's like, you only think that because you don't have cleavage.
All right.
Just saying.
All right. Let's move
away from bitches.
Let's move away from fucking obviously biased writers having a problem with somebody because they probably don't have the goods and they're jealous and they don't want fucking. I don't like the fact that
Germaine Greer is no Beyonce.
You need to accept that, Germaine. You're not Beyonce. Live with it, bitch.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Robert's Florida woman story. For the love of God, I hope this is funny.
All right, this is it's a slightly older one, but it was too good to not share on the show. Woman puts ketchup on naked body at Miami Beach Johnny Rockets, police say. Angelic, Angelic Valley, 23, arrested on lewd and lascivious charges. Let's see. The incident was reported October 9th at the restaurant on 728 Ocean Drive. Video of the incident was posted on social media, and a Be on the Lookout was issued for the woman's arrest. Miami Beach police arrested Angelic Isabella Valley on Thursday on charges of lewd and lascivious behavior, incite to riot, indecent exposure, and disorderly conduct. Valley burst into tears when she appeared in bond court Friday. A Miami-Dade County judge set her bond at $3,000. Valley's father also appeared in bond court, telling the judge that his daughter has a history of mental illness. The judge ordered that Valley undergo a mental evaluation. According to the incident report, Valley walked to the second floor of the building and began spitting down. What the fuck is spitting down? Anybody?
I don't know.
Chat, anybody know what spitting down is?
No, I don't think I want to know. And
that says it in the article like that's a common phrase.
I don't think we need to know. Let's just go with we don't need to know.
Okay. Police said she came down the stairs topless and began turning over tables and chairs. A witness said Valley's eyes were wide open and she was laughing and breathing heavy. According to police, Valley placed a steel chair leg into her buttocks while a group of men surrounded her outside the restaurant. They said other customers ran off. The city of Miami Beach has allocated a lot of resources to improve the lifestyle on Ocean Drive, and this is something that will not be taken lightly. Hang on 1 second, guys. I gotta sneeze. Talk amongst yourselves.
And he is sneezing as we were discussing a woman who apparently decided to spread ketchup on herself while she was topless.
Yes, yeah, that's basically what's going on. She got naked, spread the ketchup on herself, and caused.
Now, that headline is a little bit misleading because I've seen the video.
I have to.
You have to? Did you watch the video?
I watched the video and I didn't know what to make of it. I was very confused.
Guys, we have a thing from chat. Apparently, from Will Honorless, the phrase that you said there, Rob, means she used a chair to put for anal.
Yep.
Yeah, she did. So the video shows her. She's surrounded by a bunch of dudes. She's topless, and she pulls down her bikini bottoms and bends over and grabs this chair leg some dude's trying to play around and like poke her in the butt with, and just sticks it right in there. Sticks her right in there while everyone's cheering. And then she stands up, turns around, puts her hands in the air, and starts screaming, "Am I world star yet? Am I world star yet?"
It's I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to really gauge the video because when you watch it, if you watch it, there are two things going on in your head. One, this seems fucked up because I feel like there's more to this story. Like maybe there's something up with her that's causing this to make it look really, really, really bad. And then there's the other half of you going, did she just shove a leg in her ass, a stool leg in her ass? All right, fair enough. I don't know what to make of this anymore.
And then after that, she turns around and lays back on a table and throws her legs back behind her head. And other people start pouring ketchup and water on her while her and like some other people are rubbing her pussy and shit just right there on the table in the middle of a restaurant.
Yeah. It's insane.
That sounds like a very interesting trip to a restaurant.
That's Johnny Rockets is the shit, yo. I love this place.
That's a dinner and a show I don't think anyone was expecting or wanted, but God, anyways. Oh, fucking hell. Do we have anything else going on?
Yeah, let me just finish real quick. According to the report, Valley caused $420 in damage at the restaurant by breaking 2 tables and 2 glasses. Valley posted the following message on her Facebook page Thursday afternoon. Y'all saw a Jamaican woman. Listen to Vibs Cartel, and he'll explain why I did it. Vibs Cartel is a Jamaican reggae artist who is serving a life sentence for murder.
Wow.
Police are still searching for a man involved in the incident who is believed to be in his 20s. He is also wanted on lewd and lascivious charges because cell phone video shows him touching Valley's vagina while she was lying on a table. Anyone with information about his whereabouts is to call Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers.
Weird.
Yeah, that video, I mean, this chick she's going porn star in public.
Yeah, okay. There are, if you go to Pornhub, probably going to be a lot of those videos where people are fucking in public and everything. Some of it's staged, some of it's actually legit. That people just started fucking in public, and it's kind of crazy and all that stuff. But this chick, I don't know what, like maybe she was visiting Pornhub's public fucking tag a little too much and thought, hey, I know how I can get famous.
Can you imagine being her father going into court with her on those charges?
I
have to watch that cell phone video of your daughter.
Let's not. I have a daughter. No, I don't want to imagine that. Nuh-uh. raise your kid right. You raise your kid right. You avoid all this.
It's like you watching it. It's like, did you stick a chair leg in your ass in public on camera for the internet? You dumb hole.
Now
What the fuck is wrong
imagine.
with you?
Now imagine the kid who just hit puberty, who just so happened to be at the fucking restaurant at that point, who witnessed that, and he's just like, "Dad, I don't know what's happening. What's going on?"
Dad, well, come on, son, we're getting up and moving. I don't want to stand up right now.
Dad, I don't think I should stand up right now. My pants are really tight. Okay, you know what? That's the story. We're gonna go ahead and end this whole fucking thing on because
I have one more headline to read before we close it up.
Okay, fine. Read the headline and let's go ahead and close this.
Oh no, where the fuck did it go? Okay, here. Okay, an employee at Florida man working at Home Depot was injured when a customer's pet monkey got loose and attacked her. Florida woman. That's 2 monkey stories from Florida in 1 week. Boom.
Okay, wait. Before we close it up, we have to discuss real quick. The monkey.
It's a spider monkey, bro.
It's a
Spider monkey.
Fucking go at you like a spider monkey.
All right, I'll just settle for a midget best friend. Then I don't care anymore. I'll just put him.
Monkey theory has been thrashed.
Oh man, I hope. Okay, I want a midget friend, but I would love for 2 midget friends who are both really fucked up in their humor. Like one of them can be Brad Williams. I love that dude. That guy is awesome. But another one could be like, I don't know, some black dude who's also really fucking funny and all that shit. And the black dude's the one who actually puts on the monkey suit literally to piss everyone the fuck off. That would be great.
You have a very, very weird imagination.
I want midget friends. I just want some midget friends.
You're already a dwarf.
I'm a giant. Fuck you. I ain't no goddamn dwarf. All right, but Jesus.
The beard says otherwise. Keemstar, my good man.
That's oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
That's insane. 2 fucking monkey stories in one night. One of them is the monkey attack.
Do you know how long I held that inside me?
I had
another monkey story.
I had the 1 monkey story, but Mark went the extra mile and found the 2nd monkey story.
Yeah. That's that. You know what? I'm gonna golf clap to you, Mark. That was good.
Yes, you're welcome. Yes, 2 Florida monkeys. It's like Florida monkey is going to become a thing now.
Exactly. Florida man, Florida woman, now Florida monkey.
Right.
Be on the lookout, everybody. But before we go ahead and wrap this up, I want to go ahead and do a little bit of a screen share for everybody. It's a little treat, and this is sort of in a response to the dumb Australian who decided that she wanted to have a problem with somebody showing a little too much skin. So we've got a special treat for you from the bitching witch herself. Bam!
Boom!
Oh,
yeah.
That definitely gets a clap.
Yeah, the bitching
Thank
witch
you.
decided
Wonderful.
problem with cleavage. Let's go ahead and go some nice cleavage.
Oh, we got a challenger in the house.
Cleavage.
Bitch,
This is nice cleavage. I love that shit. But the
Hey,
queen of cleavage.
I'm not quite on her level. She's got me beat, but for size, I'll give that.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
It looks like she has bruises at the top of her boobs because they're so big they like pull down right there.
Oh,
It's funny.
Oh. No.
Mm-hmm. But they're
It's
tattoos.
just probably because all the people grabbing them.
Oh yeah.
Rockets.
Now everybody's happy in the fucking.
Dude, talk about ending the show off on a high point.
Yeah, no. I kind of want Schmeckle's not around. I'm hoping that he would just start fucking sharing the Ren cleavage. But Ren, go ahead. I'll do my outro and then Ren can start talking so she can be on screen. All right, everybody.
They're tattoos. She says they're tattoos, Mark.
I already said they're tattoos.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But that has been it for tonight, everybody. We had monkeys from Florida monkey stories. We had people bitching about too much skin on Beyonce, even though
cleavage is bad,
no one's
apparently.
really. I never thought anyone would actually complain about that. I honestly never expected anyone to complain about.
We'll leave it to a woman.
Well, at least not in the last 40 or 50 years.
Right. We also had stupidity, people looking too much into the whole Mulan thing. Let's be honest here. Even Zell tried to actually fight for them, but then again, Zell will he has a problem with taking the opposition sides way too quickly. I don't know why he does that. But Zell needs to stop. He's not a MGTOW.
No one likes you, Zell.
Don't let him swindle you. We had some pretty crazy science stuff, and of course we had what was it? Background checks. That background check story was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Tonight we had Robert Como and Mark Como. We had the Como brothers tonight.
Yeah, because I was late.
Yeah, Rob was late. Of course, you can always catch Rob every Wednesday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the States, on Mistaken Lunatics with Mocha, where they watch crazy-ass videos and make fun of people.
And you can see me on Friday nights on the Cunt stream with Trippy Poop doing Cringe of Yesteryear.
Absolutely.
It is an awesome show.
And, of course, you can see Reading Ren over on her shows, Renelations and Shitlords Anonymous. Ren, go ahead and take us out with your wonderful cleavage.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't already, Renelations is Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central, and Shitlords Anonymous is Friday nights and Saturday nights. Theaters on Friday night, Shitlords Anonymous is on Saturday night.
Don't you also do Fanfic Friday?
That is if we have some good fanfic. So if I have some really good fanfic, then we make the video. If I don't, well, that's kind of a here and there sort of thing.
Fantastic. All right, cunts. That has been CNN, the Cunt News Network. Good night. And get the fuck out.
Bye-bye.
Night, cunts.